Most people over 65 are told the same thing about their memory. Eat a little less salt, walk a little more, and hope for the best. It sounds sensible. It sounds safe. But here is what almost nobody tells you. Eating less salt alone does not protect the memory you are fighting to keep. Here is something memory clinics see almost every single day. The people who start losing their words are very often the same people whose blood vessels had been struggling quietly for years. Their heart and their brain were sending the very same warning, and breakfast was the one moment nobody thought to look at. So today, I am going to walk you through 5 things about your morning meal that help protect the brain after 65. And I am going to finish with the one habit that heart doctors quietly rely on, the one that almost no appointment ever has time to explain. That number one habit is something almost nobody talks about at breakfast. Stay with me right to the end, because that single change can shape how clearly you think for the next 10 years. Let me tell you why your own doctor may never have mentioned this. A typical appointment now runs about 12 minutes. In those 12 minutes, your doctor has to check your pressure, review your pills, and answer whatever brought you in that day. There is almost no time left for prevention. There is certainly no time to talk about what sits on your plate at 7 in the morning. So the single most powerful window in your whole day gets skipped again and again. I want to be very clear about who I am and who I am not. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Nothing on this list costs a penny more than the food you already buy, because this was never really about memory as a party trick. It is about staying the person who manages your own money, drives to see your grandchildren, and remembers their names when you arrive. That independence is what we are protecting here, one breakfast at a time. So before we go further, tell me in the comments, what is your age and what is your morning fasting blood sugar number, if you happen to know it? Now here is the one idea that makes everything else on this list make sense. Your brain does not have its own food supply. It is fed every second by a network of tiny blood vessels, some of them thinner than a single human hair. When those small vessels stiffen or clog, brain cells begin to starve quietly, long before you ever forget a name. Think of your brain like a town at the very end of a long water system. The heart is the main pump. The large arteries are the wide pipes leaving the station, but the brain is served by the smallest pipes of all, right at the far end of the line. And when pressure and sugar run high every single morning, it is those far, thin pipes that rust and narrow first. Please do not skip this next part. It is the key to everything that follows. If this is already starting to make sense to you, tap the like button now. It helps more seniors find this before their memory ever begins to slip. Let us begin the countdown at number 5. Number 5 is protein, and a very specific amount of it. Anchor every single breakfast with 25 to 30 grams of protein. Here is why the amount matters so much. When you eat a breakfast of only toast and jam, your blood sugar shoots up fast and then crashes hard. That spike and crash is rough on the thin brain vessels we just talked about. Protein changes the shape of that curve completely. Think of protein as a slow, steady log on the fire, while sugar alone is like a handful of dry paper that flares up and dies. The steady fire is what your small vessels want every morning. Nutrition researchers have shown for years that older adults hold on to more muscle and steadier blood sugar when protein is spread across the day. And breakfast is the meal where most people over 65 fall the shortest. So here is exactly how to do it. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein within about 45 minutes of waking. 3 large eggs give you around 18 grams, so you will want a little more. A cup of plain Greek yogurt carries around 20 grams all on its own. 2 eggs together with a cup of that yogurt lands you right in the target range. The most common mistake is a breakfast that is all bread and fruit, with almost no protein in sight. Now one careful note. If you have been told you have kidney disease, do not jump to high protein without asking first. Talk to your own doctor about the right amount for your kidneys before you change anything. And if eggs worry you because of cholesterol, know that for most people, the old fear about eggs has softened, but bring that question to your next visit. Here is how to make number 5 work even harder. Pair your protein with a small spoonful of healthy fat, like a few walnuts or a little olive oil. The protein steadies your sugar, and the fat slows digestion further, so the two together keep you level right through the morning. And keep number one in the back of your mind as we go, the habit heart doctors lean on the most. Everything you are stacking up now becomes far more powerful once we reach it, but protein alone leaves one gap. It does very little for the cholesterol that can slowly clog those pipes over the years, and that is exactly the hole that number 4 is built to fill. Number 4 is soluble fiber, and one food does it better than almost anything else. Real oats, either rolled or steel cut, and not the sugary flavored packets. Oats carry a special kind of fiber called beta-glucan. Inside your gut, beta-glucan turns into a soft gel. Picture a sponge moving slowly through a pipe, gently wiping the walls as it passes. That gel grabs some of the cholesterol before it can be absorbed, and it slows sugar down at the same time. Lower cholesterol and steadier sugar are two of the kindest things you can offer those thin brain vessels. Health authorities have recognized for decades that the beta-glucan in oats can help lower cholesterol. This is one of the most settled findings in all of nutrition. Here is the exact way to eat it. Use half a cup of dry rolled oats, or a third of a cup of steel-cut oats, as your base. Cook it in water or milk, and skip the flavored packets that hide 4 or 5 teaspoons of sugar. Add your protein on the side, and top it with something we will reach in just a moment. The biggest error people make is buying instant flavored oatmeal and believing it is the same food. It simply is not, because that added sugar undoes much of the good the oats were meant to do. If you are not used to much fiber, go slowly here. Start with a smaller portion and build up over a week or two, and drink a full glass of water alongside it. Adding a lot of fiber overnight can leave you bloated or blocked up. And if you live with diabetes, keep your portion measured, because even healthy oats still raise blood sugar somewhat. Now pair number 4 with number 5. Stir your cooked oats right into your Greek yogurt or simply eat them side by side. The protein and the beta-glucan together flatten your morning sugar curve far more than either one manages alone. But oats and protein are working mostly on your plumbing. They do very little to fight the rust itself, the daily damage happening inside the vessel walls. And fighting that rust is where number 3 comes in. Number 3 brings color to your bowl. Add half a cup of berries every morning, fresh or frozen, blueberries or strawberries, whichever you like. Berries are packed with plant pigments called flavonoids. Those deep blue and red colors are not just for show. They help protect the delicate lining inside your blood vessels, the very layer that decides how well blood flows up to your brain. Think of that lining like the smooth, non-stick coating inside a good pan. Flavonoids help keep that coating smooth, so blood glides through instead of dragging and clotting. Researchers who followed thousands of older adults for years found that those who ate the most berries tended to keep their thinking sharper as they aged. It is one of the most consistent signals in the entire field of food and the brain. Here is the simple protocol. Half a cup of berries, most days of the week, spooned right on top of your oats. Frozen berries are just as good as fresh and often cheaper, so do not let the cost stop you. Let them thaw into the warm oats, and they turn into a natural syrup. The common mistake is reaching for berry-flavored yogurt or juice instead. Those carry the sugar of berries with almost none of the whole fruit benefit. Berries are safe for nearly everyone, but here are 2 small cautions. If you live with diabetes, half a cup is your friend, while a large heaping bowl can still lift your sugar. And if berry skins are hard on your stomach or your teeth, blend them into your yogurt instead. Only stop and check with your doctor if any new food clearly upsets your system. Pair number 3 with the little bit of fat we mentioned earlier. The colorful compounds in berries actually absorb better when a little fat is on the plate. So berries with yogurt, or berries with a few nuts, give you more than berries eaten all alone. And we are getting very close now to number 1, the habit almost nobody talks about. But berries work mostly on the vessel lining. They do not deliver the specific building blocks your brain uses to hold its own structure together. Those building blocks are hiding in number 2. Number 2 is the one most people never expect at breakfast. A handful of leafy greens, like spinach, folded right into your eggs. Dark leafy greens are quietly one of the most powerful brain foods we know of. They carry folate, they carry a pigment called lutein, and they carry natural nitrates. Lutein actually gathers inside the brain itself, where scientists believe it helps the cells communicate. Picture lutein like fresh oil worked into the gears of a machine, keeping all the parts moving smoothly, and the natural nitrates in greens help relax and widen your blood vessels, so more blood can reach those far, thin pipes. A well-known eating pattern built for the brain, called the MIND diet, places leafy greens at the very top of its list. It was developed by researchers at Rush University, and it links greens with slower memory decline. Here is how to fit greens into breakfast without hating it. Take one large handful of fresh spinach, about 1 cup packed down. Toss it into the pan in the last minute while your eggs finish cooking, and it wilts down to almost nothing. If eggs are not your style, blend that same handful into a yogurt and berry smoothie where you will not even taste it. Aim for greens most mornings, not just once in a while. The mistake people make is waiting for a dinner salad when breakfast is the easiest place to slip them in. Now this one carries the single most important safety note in the whole video. If you take a blood thinner such as warfarin, greens are high in vitamin K, which affects how that medicine works. The rule is not to avoid greens, but to keep your amount steady from day to day, and to talk with your doctor before you change how much you eat. Never suddenly load up or cut back on greens while you are on that medication without your doctor guiding you. Pair your greens with a source of vitamin C, like the berries from number 3. Vitamin C helps your body absorb the iron in the greens, so spinach in your eggs, with berries on the side, is a far smarter plate than either one alone. But here is the catch with greens. The lutein and the vitamin K inside them are fat-soluble, which means your body can barely absorb them with no fat on the plate. And the single best partner for that job is sitting right at number 1. And now we reach number 1, the habit almost nobody talks about at breakfast. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to your morning meal. I know just how strange that sounds. Most people think of olive oil as something for a dinner salad, not a breakfast food at all. But extra virgin olive oil may be the most quietly powerful thing you can add to your morning plate. It is rich in compounds called polyphenols, natural plant chemicals that calm the inflammation inside your blood vessels. One of them acts in the body a little like a gentle, natural anti-inflammatory. Now remember those thin pipes feeding your brain. Inflammation is the slow rust that stiffens and narrows them over the years. Extra virgin olive oil is like a fine oil poured onto a rusting hinge, easing the movement and slowing the damage day after day. Memory is not only luck. Aging vessels are not only fate. Protection can be poured, quite literally, from a bottle. This is not some fringe idea. A large and famous study in Spain, known as the pre-dimed trial, followed thousands of older adults for years. Those who added extra virgin olive oil to a Mediterranean-style diet had fewer heart problems, and related research has linked that same pattern with better thinking scores as people age. Now let me give you the exact protocol, because the details truly matter here. Use 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil each morning. The words extra virgin are not just marketing. They matter, because that is the grade that still holds on to its polyphenols. The lighter, refined oils have had most of the good quietly stripped out. Do not pour it into a screaming hot pan and burn it. Instead, drizzle it raw over your finished eggs, or stir it into your warm oats, or pour it over a slice of whole grain toast. 1 tablespoon carries about 120 calories, so replace other fats with it rather than piling it on top of them. Store your bottle away from light and heat, because both quietly destroy the very compounds you are paying for. And buy a bottle with a harvest date on it, then use it within a few months of opening, since fresher oil is stronger oil. The single biggest mistake is buying a cheap oil labeled pure or light and believing it does the same job. It truly does not. Here are the careful notes, and please do take them seriously. Olive oil is calorie dense, so if you are watching your weight, swap it in for butter rather than adding it on top. Start with 1 teaspoon instead of the full tablespoon if your stomach is sensitive to fat. If you have had your gallbladder removed or you get discomfort with fatty foods, go slow and see how you feel. Real extra virgin olive oil has a peppery little catch at the back of the throat, and that pepper is actually a sign of the good compounds at work. But if any new food brings on pain or nausea, stop and bring it up with your doctor. And here is where the whole list finally comes together. Remember number 2, your leafy greens. Their lutein and vitamin K can barely be absorbed without fat, and olive oil is the perfect partner to unlock them both. So spinach folded into eggs, with olive oil drizzled on top, is worth far more than the greens or the oil ever were alone. This is the habit I promised you at the very start, the one almost no appointment ever mentions. It is not exotic, it is not expensive, and it sits on grocery shelves everywhere you look. Yet a single spoonful each morning may do more for the next 10 years of your memory than any breakfast cereal ever could. That is exactly why number 1 was worth waiting for. Let me show you how all of this looks in a real-life shape. Consider a typical case documented in the clinical literature. A woman of 74 had begun to worry about her memory. She was losing words in the middle of her sentences, her fasting blood sugar was creeping upward, and her mornings were toast with jam and sweet coffee. Her care team did not add a single new pill. They rebuilt her breakfast instead. Out went the sugary toast, and in came 2 eggs with a handful of spinach, cooked in a little olive oil. On the side sat plain yogurt with half a cup of berries and a small bowl of real oats. She kept to it most mornings for about 12 weeks. The change showed up first in her numbers. Her fasting blood sugar settled back down, and her cholesterol drifted in the right direction. She told her team her mornings felt clearer, and the mid-morning crashes had finally stopped. None of this is a cure, but those are exactly the vessel numbers tied to protecting the brain over time. So let us make this simple enough to start tomorrow. Here is your action list, and every step carries a number so you never lose your place. Step 1. Tonight. Put a carton of eggs and a bag of real oats where you will see them first thing in the morning. That one small move makes tomorrow almost automatic. Step 2. Tomorrow morning. Eat 25 to 30 grams of protein within 45 minutes of waking. 2 eggs and a cup of yogurt will get you there. Step 3. This week. Add half a cup of berries and 1 handful of spinach to your breakfast at least 4 mornings out of 7. Frozen berries count, so cost is no excuse. Step 4. Also this week. Put 1 to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil on your plate, drizzled raw, never burned in a hot pan. Step 5. At your next visit. Bring this exact list to your own doctor and ask which of these 5 fits your health the best. Before you go, think of someone in your life who could truly use this. Perhaps a parent, a partner, or an old friend whose mornings still start with sugar and worry. Share this with them today, because the person who hears it early is the one who keeps the most. Now tell me in the comments which of these 5 you are starting tomorrow. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next on this channel. And if you want the science your 12-minute appointment never has time for, subscribe and stay with us. This channel exists to help you keep your memory and your independence for as long as you possibly can. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Kenji Vance. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.